I did not pull up our. I don't know. I don't even know why I'm pulling up our notes. There's probably nothing written.
I'm so sorry. I've been
No,
bad
it's
at
okay. Just
I
going
have
off the
plenty
last few
written down.
sessions.
We I didn't even write a whole lot last time. We we made it in and talked to the receptionist. Found out that anything we say in this room he hears, so don't shit talk him. Somebody name dropped a god, and he got real bombastic side eye about doing that.
Yeah,
Um,
current whispered Titania, like an
yeah,
apology to Titania.
Yeah.
and we have various trials. So Redatu and Mebly went through a portal and had to yoink some stuff out of a black hole room.
Mhm.
And who was in the gardens? Looks like Kildrak and Current. I don't remember how that went.
Where did
I
you
Um,
go?
know
yeah, we ended with
I went to the
uh
workshop.
only Mebly and Redatu completed their initial trial. So,
Yeah.
Kildrak and Current are in the gardens. Salik and Simuleek are at the Arcane Workshop, and Scaldrus is at the Alchemist's workbenches. And you guys are all about to embark on your first trial here as acolytes who have completed the path of intellect and wisdom. So, we ended last session. We had rolled initiative. So, um, okay. I like how after Redatu and Mebly, Current is next and Kildrak is last. Um, so we'll split the diff there, and have you guys go in the middle. So we'll
Get
start with Salik. But before we get to Salik's trial, let me switch the playlist here. Andrew, you can change the playlist after. This is only like a minute long, but it's a cool. This is a teaser track that came with the playtest that was released about the Grand Alchemist, so that was cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, rewinding just a tad. First of all, if I don't mention it now, it's gonna bother me. I in between sessions, and especially due to that playtest that was released and some of the things I'm adapting from there, I have just renamed the central area in the heart of the castle the Grand Pedestal and not the Inner Sanctum. Um, and
I mean, I should change the session name that I'm gonna have so many notes in.
no, this session name is still the Inner Sanctum. So, yeah, while Redatu and Mebly were inside the Sundered Lab completing their trial, as the three of you began your first trials, none of you got very far into the instructions, starting it before the voice of the Grand Alchemist bellowed over the room. He said, I, I think I know a better way. I, yes, this formula is wrong. Surely, that I must correct the formula. That this formula can't be like this. Before the acolyte who he was emulating looks up in horror, realizing Paracelsian was mocking him. Those of you with very high passive perceptions, at least I would say Current and Scaldrus, I believe, off the top of my head, notice Paracelsian was with his eyeless face, he was staring down an acolyte over in the alchemist's workbenches, and his lips were repeating what that alchemist whispered in his frustration. And the acolyte looks up to the grand alchemist, having exposed him for his disbelief. He falls to his knees, quivering. The cold gaze of the Grand Alchemist burns into the acolyte on his knees as a moat. Thanks, Josh, for that observation. A moat of green energy appears in both of the Grand Alchemist's hands, and he throws this blast of eldritch force at the acolyte. As soon as the blast connects, an arc of lightning spreads from the Grand Alchemist's hand to that acolyte, and then the second eldritch bolt releases and hits him. And just as soon as that second eldritch bolt hits the acolyte blackened and smoldering from this lightning bolt and these eldritch blasts that hit him, the Grand Alchemist summons 2 more eldritch blasts and once again hurls them at the acolyte, as well as another lightning bolt. And the acolyte collapses to the floor in a smoking pile of lifeless flesh and robes. The Grand Alchemist spreads his gaze over the rest of the room and walks around the center of the grand pedestal slowly for about 30 seconds before returning to his place in front of the Arcanite reactor, where he puts his head down and lowers his hands to adjust some more knobs on the reactor. And slowly the room resumes everyone's hectic business, and Scaldrus, a couple of the acolytes, somewhat close to the now lifeless acolyte heretic, they drag his body away and through the cafeteria door.
Lovely.
So, yeah, then a little while after that, Redatu and Mebly emerge from their trial. But first of all, let's go to the trial of Salik and Simulik. So this, Salik and Simulik are technically 2 acolytes. So we'll have you roll separately, Garrett. And I will tell you this twist on a skills challenge here. This will all culminate in 1 medicine check. The starting DC for that medicine check for Salik and Simulik to complete their vision of this undead creature that they see in their mind, and they know if they complete their vision, surely it will meet Frederick's expectations. The DC to complete your vision right now is DC 20. And so you will get the chance to make a couple ability checks to potentially lower that DC from 20.
Could I use Arcana instead of Medicine?
I think for this one, the final check will be Medicine. But Arcana could be one of the checks you make to lower the DC of that final check for you.
Okay.
So yeah, Frederick, he returns. Some roaming constructs with little arms behind them drag on floating sleds that hover a couple inches off the ground a body of a large bull with long horns. The span of them 36 to 42 inches, as well as the body of a dead minotaur. And these bodies are cold, like they're chilled. They're not frozen, so it seems like you can go ahead and start working on them fairly soon. And Frederick will just examine the little sketch that you have been working on and nod and say, "Is there any questions you two have for me, or anything you would like to know before you begin working on this project to hopefully surpass the expectations of the Arcane Workshop and get your first pin?"
Well, I am accustomed to working and adding my own artistic touch to work such as this, are there any obscure disqualifications that I should be aware of? You know how sometimes contests such as these have a little sneaky footnote that disqualifies for someone's particular personal taste? For me, I don't particularly care if my creations can survive without being suspended and animated by necromantic energy, for instance. So, is there some particularity of this contest I should be aware of?
Yeah, well, it would be good to have your creation suspended by some sort of necromantic energies, spell, what have you. Certainly, a statue of corpses would not be acceptable to earn your pin. The thing must be granted animation. Any other questions?
Yes, it requires animation, but I mean it doesn't need a self-sustaining animation. As much as a golem. It can be fine if it's, supported animation.
Yes, yeah. We're not going to be judging you on whether or not your creation for this first pin is still standing 10 years from now, if that's sort of what
Fantastic. I'll rub my
Yes.
winged hands together and say, then I am ready to begin.
Okay. And the construct he is on, he just taps his foot once very lightly, and it abruptly turns, and Frederick zooms off to the next task that he is occupied with.
Okay. So I'll tell you what I want to do. You tell me what to roll for it. So
Okay.
I think I want to start by outlining in chalk or some kind of similar thing where I'm going to cut and splice the bodies together. And I want to build out a thick, massive man that has two opposing boar heads or bull heads, so that I'll watch the back, front and back instead of side by side. And I want to remove the horns and attach them to the hands to be built in like blades rather than a goring thing. And I'm gonna take the forelegs to make a cross-shaped bit of legs for more stability, and just make this thing an absolute tank with a massive meaty stalk, taking a whole bunch of the extra bull muscle and adding them and incorporating them into making the man part of the Minotaur just as big as a golem in size.
Okay. So for starting off on that, you could have both. I feel like in general you probably just have Salik and Simulik make roles in parallel with each other.
Yeah, it's kind of like the what are they? The Brawler twins from Invincible? We know which one of us the clone, but we work in tandem just like that, where we both have the same ideas at the same time and help each other out.
Yeah, and I think you guys, as you work in tandem in kind of unison, almost mirroring each other, you would probably assume roles on either side of this creation. So whether you intend it to or not, the final judgment of this beast, this monster you create, the result on one side will reflect Salik, and the result on the other side will reflect Simulik. As you said, it has kind of opposite facing heads and whatnot.
Salik will take more of the bull parts and incorporating them to the body, and Simulik will take the Minotaur part.
Okay, cool. So, a starting roll, I think, would be investigation, or maybe something dexterity, especially sleight of hand would make sense.
I like investigation instead.
Yep.
That should have been much higher. Good grief.
Okay, so Salik is there and Simulik is there. You feel like Simulik is making good progress on his side. Man, I should really just... Oh yeah, I have a pen right here. Yeah, I'm gonna write this stuff down by hand because that's easier than writing otherwise. If I can find my sticky notes. Okay. So both of you start out all right. But Simuleek, the shape of the monster that you are beginning to create, the form of the Minotaur, sort of suits that shape a little bit better, and so he gets a starting edge there. So yeah, as you guys continue, now you probably start chopping up the bodies into sections.
I'll do, can I do animal handling to take the best cuts of meat in ways that make sense and stack them appropriately?
Yes, I think that would make sense for Salik. And what would Simuleek use?
Probably perception to work back to back off of what Salik is doing and fill in the gaps and like grow the connective tissue necessary to make it flow in a cohesive way.
Okay. And a 19 there. Alright, so you guys have dissected these bodies, and now you begin to piece the portions together. So your medicine check will be coming soon, but first you have to build the shape here. And then before you make your medicine check, we'll also say what exactly, like what spell you're using to animate the thing as well.
Okay.
But what sort of skill do you think would be a good kind of final assist here to get you over the edge and toward that medicine check?
History for recalling past necromantic experiments, both with tomes that I've spent a long time trying to find to see what works and get inspiration, like figuring out that animate dead doesn't have to be full bodies, but you can combine just a couple of hands and make a crawling thing, or things of that nature. And recalling stories of like a famed necromancer named Frankenstein, and recalling his process for assimilating different parts into one cohesive being.
That makes sense. And yeah, I like the I'm assuming you use history for both.
Yes.
Makes sense.
I'll turn that off eventually.
Okay. So Salik gets a natural 20. And Simuleek Salik unnatural, Simuleek a natural 20. Okay, so you two, first of all, what spell are you going to use to animate your creation? And then,
Salik is going to use a level 3 animate dead.
Cool. All right. So now I will tell you the DCs of your final medicine checks for Salik and Simuleek to execute their visions as intended. And before you roll, if you could, or even as you roll, if you could describe what the final product looks like and maybe some of the special touches that Salik added to his side and Simuleek as well. Salik must succeed on a DC 9 medicine check to execute his vision, and Simuleek a DC 5 medicine check.
Thank goodness. Salik knows that it's unusual to rearrange parts of the creature itself rather than just smushing the best features of two. So the taking the horns off into like, you remember in the first like Deadpool movie how he had these really long bone spurs that came out of his arm? That's what I'm trying to do. So he still has full ability to use his hands.
You're talking about
and
Wolverine?
thumbs. Yeah, but wasn't Deadpool with his mouth sewed shut had the really long blade that was like a single blade?
Oh yeah, yeah, in the stupid movie that
Yeah, that one.
most people try to forget.
That's exactly
yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm. Yes, that. So he still has like full ability to grab things like shields or whatever, but like have those big natural weapons instead of being wasted where you can't really gore people by like headbutting. It'll be on all 4 of the arms, and then Simuleek is going to instead of having the not Manicore. What's the thing's name? Minotaur. Instead of having the Minotaur's hands and then hooves, it's going to be a mismatch. So there's one humanoid hand with a bone spur to 1 hoof per side, so that each side can have at least 1 set of opposable thumbs.
All right. So Salik gets an unnatural 20 on that medicine check, and Simuleek gets a 5.
Isn't that the DC?
Yes, that a 5 just barely succeeds after that natural 20 on history. It helped him execute his vision very well, even though his hands slipped up a few times. Okay, so you have cast that, and you cast Animate Dead on your, we'll call it a monstrosity of an undead.
Has obviously spent plenty of time doing this, and as such has dedicated his signature mastery over the arcane to an Animate Dead. So I'm doing that without spending a spell slot.
Nice. So with that, Frederick is toward the center of the arcane workshop, supervising a project, kind of standing back a little bit and watching acolytes as they work. Would you like to call him
would
over,
like
or
to have the headless spider walk over and tap Frederick with 2 or 3 of its long, spiny legs.
okay, on like his shoulder, or
Yeah. Just
it taps Frederick as he's stroking his beard, and his goggled eyes are observing the students over there. He feels a kind of a pointy tap on his shoulder. He turns and goes, "Oh!" and jumps up onto a table and grabs a robot arm. He jumps off the construct that was carrying him around, and then he's like, collecting himself, he looks over towards Salik and Simuleek over there, and he brushes off his coat and strokes his beard and hops on his roaming construct there to go say hello to you.
We have finished our masterpiece.
Interesting way of getting my attention there. Now let me examine this thing. Okay.
It was bred with combat capabilities in mind. A true wizard's aid, if you will, if a shield guardian is not on hand. You'll note the rearranging of the classic biology to better accommodate a more fear-striking factor and pure protective malice.
Very unique, very sensible, and very tasteful. I see, Salik, you stand to this side, and Simuleek, you stand to the other. I assume, Salik, your handiwork is there on what we might call the front side, and Simuleek on the back side, as you two both collaborated on this just beautiful monstrosity together.
It was a dance of 4 hands, but yes, you have assumed correctly.
Magnificent! Well done, young acolytes. Well done. And he says, he squats down a little bit and he says, only one way is the correct way to respond to such a magnificent creation here in the Arcane Workshop. And as he squats, he's like, he grunts, ugh, 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 and he smacks the side of the construct below him, ugh, smacks it again, and then a compartment pops out, and many pins are inside the compartment there. He reaches down and pulls out a couple before beckoning you two close, and he will pin them onto your breast underneath your initial acolyte pins that you have there. These pins are circular and they have like an illustration of a robotic arm inside of them.
It feels nice to be appreciated by a knowledgeable expert such as yourself.
Good. Well, I am glad to be here and to foster you in your learning. Please come back to the Arcane Workshop and continue fostering your skills as often as you can.
Yes, learning. Yes.
In the meantime, you two have gone through the path of intellect and wisdom today, and these few hours laboring over your creation here surely have cost you some energy. Have you two been set up with your own room in the castle suites?
I do not believe we've been provided with such yet, no.
Oh, no worries. You, would you two want to bunk together? That would help with room availability.
We certainly wouldn't mind. I do, however, wish to confer with those I came with before retiring for the evening.
Yes, okay. I just wanted to make sure you two don't work yourselves into exhaustion. Being in the presence of the Grand Alchemist inspires us all to go beyond our limits, but we also encourage rest and the fostering of one's mind and body. So please go collect your friends, and whenever you wish, you may retire to the castle suites. He points to the door toward the bottom of the map there.
How very generous of you.
Says, beyond that door, there should be a steward or stewardess who will help you find an empty room for you all to rest in while you prepare for the great work that is to occur on the morrow.
I'll take a slight dip in my head, and then Similik and Salik are going to seek out Reditu and Kildrak, since I think they should be within eye shot.
Okay, yeah. So you guys have finished your first trials successfully, and we will now go over to Current and Kildrak in the Wondrous Gardens, who in this time have been working on their own first trial. Varmod, the metal-clad shamanic leader of the gardens, invites you to come into these first aisles of plants, where the plants are somewhat normal and irrigated by regular water and not the glowing green sacred substance. Varmod says, "Come now, acolytes. I would like for you to grow a healthy sample of a certain spell component over here.
All right.
Is there any I mean, we have all sorts of seeds. Is there any sort of particular component that strikes your all's interest, or would you?
What? Are the seeds just like laying out? Is there a selection place for them?
Yeah. So there would be seeds on shelves around the wondrous gardens here. And if any like just components of certain spells that you guys use that come to mind, you could perhaps work on.
What kind of seeds are there? Like, what are we looking for?
They are.
Whatever you think will be easiest to care for and grow.
Sure. Okay. Varmod, seeing you two look up and down the shelves of seeds and whatnot, and not really having a particular idea in mind, Varmod suggests perhaps you could go ahead and grow a couple plants. Let's one of you, if you could grow mistletoe, and the other of you, if you could grow spruce. And then the important part, you would need to burn these and actually collect their ashes, as the ashes of mistletoe and spruce are used in the spell Pass Without Trace. So he goes to the shelves and
Can
pulls
I
down.
invite him to see if there's a particular reason he's choosing the spell components for Pass Without a Trace? Since-
Yeah.
Okay.
I have exactly one plant component in my entire prepared list, and that is moon seeds for Moonbeam.
I've never checked that, honestly.
Okay, sorry. With your 15 on insight, his mouth is pretty expressionless, and most of his face is covered up by this metal mask. You feel like, for some reason, as he thought of the first trial and looked at the two of you, Pass Without Trace was the first spell with components that he has here ready to make. The first spell that came to mind. You're not sure exactly why that was the first spell that came to mind. Seems pretty impassive.
Okay, so I don't get nefarious vibes.
No. Not more nefarious
Code
than
for
just the
the
fact that he has a
DMs.
creepy metal mask and all that.
I
It's
mean,
code for the DM scrambled to find spell components that were plants.
Okay, well that's not it,
Fair
but nice to know. So, he pulls off a tiny pouch of mistletoe seeds and spruce seeds, and he says, "You have, let's go ahead. Garrett, go ahead and roll 2d6. Okay, we'll say it took 3 hours for the Saliks to do their task, and that is also what the time limit Varmod gives you. You have 3 hours to produce suitable ashes of mistletoe and spruce, thus that I may cast Pass Without Trace using them, and there are more left over for subsequent castings. We have methods of hastening the growth of plants if you yourself are not capable of such. You must ask around for those methods. I have other duties to attend to, but I will check in on you in 3 hours from now. And he sort of pauses, like he's making a mental note or setting some invisible timer.
Yeah, okay, Current. I am going to go start investigating methods of accelerated growth while my druid companion cheats.
I'm sure I could help you.
I'm actually not sure,
Why?
because that feels like the sort of thing that then the grader comes back and says, "Oh, you didn't solve it all by yourself." Also, if we're going to be here for 3 hours, I want to know what kind of stuff they're using to accelerate plant growth.
Fair enough.
Okay. I will say this challenge will be just before you go do those things. This skills challenge, you will need to accrue 2 successes before you accrue 2 failures, and the DC for all of your checks in this skills endeavor is 18. Current, as your initiative when we rolled last session was higher than Kildrax, how does Current begin planting her seed and fostering its growth in your short time span here?
Well, first I assume I would find a patch of dirt or like a pot to put dirt in.
Yeah,
Then I would-
Varmod did not lead you to a specific area, but he just gestured to the general vicinity of especially like these first 2 rows furthest in the corner, and there are many patches of empty soil with adjustable little irrigation nozzles, and you can ask acolytes around if you're unsure about using a particular patch, but it's not too hard to find one for yourself.
I'll just go look for an empty patch, dig up some dirt, make sure that the dirt has like a whole bunch of nutrients, fertilizer in it, make sure it is well irrigated. I would probably do like a mind check to know like how deep I should plant the seed, or how much water the seed needs, or see if it would be good to have it soaking a little bit to let it sprout first and maybe accelerate that with plant growth. And then I would put it into the dirt, cover it up appropriate to what is required for the seed's environment, and then cast plant growth on it.
Okay. So would you want to roll Arcana for that? Or do you have another suitable skill that comes to mind?
Nature would make sense if I was any good at it.
Oh, I honestly forget that there's a nature skill.
I'll do Arcana.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like that makes sense with your, like, you know, a lot of the natural fundamentals, and then you're applying your magic to foster this. You guys received a small pouch with mistletoe and spruce seeds. Who is planting a spruce sapling, and who is planting mistletoe?
I'll plant the spruce. I want it to shoot up into the sky dramatically with how much I make it grow.
Okay. So so these like hydroponics areas do have multiple levels. So then I guess you would probably plant this on a higher level.
I suppose.
Yeah, unless you want to deal with the ramifications of possibly shooting a spruce up into the underside of one of those things. So those higher levels over there, I would say the very first row of plants in the corner is only 2 tiers. You could fairly easily access plants on the top level there if you so desired, or if you wanted to be maybe closer to the light sources, more open. On the second row, there are 3 tiers, and they're sort of like library ladders that you can roll back and forth, and you could climb up a ladder to get to the top level and plant your seeds.
I'll choose the one with more light, so
Okay.
3rd tier.
Yeah, and with that Arcana check, you plant a spruce, and how tall do you want this spruce to grow?
How
you
tall are the
want enough
ceilings?
to make... That is a good question. Inside the heart of the castle here, the ceilings are, we'll say, 120 feet tall.
It's gonna touch the ceiling.
Oh my. Okay. Yeah, I'll say with your unnatural 20, your specific application of a spell that generally applies to plants in a large area, you're focusing all the energy of that third level spell into your one sapling. It explodes and grows exceptionally tall, and over the course of 2 hours would even touch the ceiling here, if you wish to foster its growth for so long.
Definitely will.
And-
Do the hydroponic stations seem like they may break under this weight?
Go ahead and roll a d20 or a d100.
All right.
You choose a plot of soil that is about 1/3 of the way into the row, and very nearby, kind of on both sides of your plot, there are sturdy supports. And over all the time of your spruce growing, you might hear a couple groans of the metal shelf, but you are never worried that it will buckle or fail.
Can I specifically also have like the roots of the tree kind of wrap around the supports and go all the way down to the ground as like extra support?
Yeah, with your unnatural 20, you could have your roots expand out of your plot and wrap around the supports going downward, and they would reach maybe not the floor, but at least that bottom level, having wrapped the whole support from tier 1 to tier 3.
Sweet.
And in the meantime, Kildrak might be carousing for assistance from fellow acolytes here. So what's Kildrak up to?
Well, how many acolytes do I have? Oh, I have a whole group. They are just the collective acolytes.
Yeah, I didn't want to put tokens out for every little guy in this place. So yeah, there's a few acolytes working in the Wondrous Gardens, both sides, and some of them are friendly and are open to answering questions and whatnot.
Alrighty. Well, I will go up and approach. I don't know that I want anyone specific other than how.
I mean, perhaps one
Okay.
suitable first roll could be insight to find someone who leads you in the right direction.
Yep. I will. I would love to roll an insight. Actually, that's my best skill. No, that's
Really?
not my best skill. Athletics is my best skill. I did this funny thing where I built a charisma character and then took proficiency in none of the charisma skills.
Oh no.
Hey, me as a druid not being proficient in nature very much understands you.
Me as a cleric not getting religion also understands.
So with your 25 in insight, you find a very helpful acolyte. This acolyte is a fellow dwarf, and she seems to have been here for a little while, maybe an elder acolyte. She does not have her pin from the path she pursued or her trials, and she is wearing a green robe with blue undertones, like under the sleeves, kind of under the armpit, going down on the sides. There's these blue stripes, and she introduces herself. Hello. Yeah, I am Henrietta. You must be new around here.
Indeed, I am. In fact, we being I and my companions, arrived here just today, and have busied
Wow.
ourselves with the pursuit of our pins, which we are told is the rite that all newcomers must perform. To that end, I find myself here in the gardens performing a trial with no nature magic of my own. My companion over there, as you can see, is having a little more luck than me on that front. Alas, I am myself not inclined to that sort of magic. What's his face?
Barmod?
Varmod mentioned that there is a method of general use plant growth acceleration that even I may be capable of using, but he neglected to explain the specifics of it. So if I might impose on you an explanation of what that system is and how it supports these gardens here, would be greatly appreciated.
Yes. Well, first of all, you and your companions, you are very much go-getters, and it is great that you guys are already trying to complete trials on the same day that you finished your path, and it is truly fortuitous, perhaps, that you have come to the castle on such a blessed week, and I am sure that you all will be elated to witness the ascension of the Grand Alchemist as he begins his ritual tomorrow, actually. But, yes, Miss, did you introduce yourself with your name, or?
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Kildrak, please come this way, and she will lead you to the south wall, where there are very narrow shelves that have lots of flasks. All of them are either earthen make or made of steel. There's not really glass bottles over here, steel or other metals at least. And she will grab from closer to where the watery plants are. She will grab a clay flask, and when she unstoppers it, you see there is a swirling orange substance within. She says, well, don't you fret about your friends. I guess that must be a spruce over there. I mean, it's only 8 inches tall now. So we'll see how big it looks in a couple hours. But yeah, don't you worry, Kildrak. Now, follow me, and she will lead you over to the arcane workshop for a stint, actually, to grab some tongs, and she will instruct you to fill a small vial with the sacred substance from the Fountain of Progress, then mix it with the flask that she gave you, and to water your seeds with it, as well as turn the irrigation valve on your plot 3/4 of a turn. And that will result, it is a fairly easy process to follow her instructions, and that will result in a fairly hearty mistletoe. Is mistletoe a bush?
Yes.
Yeah, a mistletoe bush. Hemiparasitic plants. Oh boy. They attach to a host tree or shrub. Okay, interesting. So, I guess if that's the case, she would probably give you a wooden, like a fake tree-looking thing, and that your mistletoe sprig will grow up alongside this fake tree that you also plant in your plot there. And it takes about an hour and a half, perhaps, before you are confident you have enough mistletoe to at least take some of it off and try to produce the ash. But you and Current are both successful on your first check here in your trial. So, Current, you have a almost 100-foot tall spruce that is almost choking the shelf below it. How much spruce would you like to remove and try to produce ash from?
I'll probably just cut off some of the lowest branches.
Cut off some branches, yeah. And
No, I'll cause chaos. I will cut the whole tree down and see which way it falls.
yeah, you cut off a bunch of branches and you have a good pile of sticks to make a fire with. And Kildrak, you are able to collect quite a few leaves there. Your friend Henrietta Kildrak will lead you guys actually to an antechamber. There is a service door in the back corner of the Wondrous Gardens that leads to, and you realize there is a similar service door around near each the Arcane Workshop, near the Component Farm, and near the Alchemist's workbenches. There's a service door or multiple, but this one leads to some sort of ventilated space where you guys could light your components on fire and produce ash without causing a ruckus. But yeah, so how would each of you like to go about burning your components and collecting enough ash suitable for the casting of Pass Without Trace? I would think survival for one could be a very applicable skill here, or
Surely
nature.
what is- Yeah, like a flint and tinder. That would be a dumb thing for adventurers to be wandering around without.
Yeah, I would assume you guys either have a way of making a fire, or you could most certainly borrow flint and steel or what have you nearby. Honestly, yeah, probably flint and steel because they use a lot of metal around the Wondrous Gardens. But yeah, I'm definitely thinking like survival or nature are possibilities here. And you have enough time that if you are unable to produce... Oh, I hit that door button. I was trying to put a door on the map. Anyways. If you fail your first attempt at producing ash, you both have more than enough of your plant to make more and try again.
Alright, are we both rolling survival?
Survival or nature, unless you think of another skill check that you think might be suitable.
Those both feel appropriate, but this roll is going to be rough. Woof. I don't have a better shot at this, so I am going to roll a hero die.
Yeah.
Light a fire.
Do I pass my DC?
Yes, the DC on these
Just
is
checking.
18. Yep.
That's what I thought, but I was no longer sure.
Yeah, Current is pretty well suited for this task in the first trial there. And hopefully Kildrak, with a little heroic push, can capture enough suitable ash as well. On his first attempt, yeah. With a 21 there. You two both, you spend a good amount of time making a proper fire. You spend at least 30 minutes burning down your material and then carefully collecting your ash. and you can place it back in the pouches where you originally received your seeds. Would you like to wait around for a half hour or so, or would you like to seek out Varmod? He is in the room, engrossed in a project on the other side of the gardens when you two are finished.
Do you have anything else that you want to get done over here, Current?
I don't. So.
Perfect. Looks like we'll hop on over and talk to Varmod.
Okay. You two head over there about 30 minutes before your scheduled end time, and Varmod continues working on a project with a huddled cloister of acolytes for a couple minutes before, he nods and acknowledges your presence and continues his work for a couple minutes before stepping aside. And he examines both of your pouches and nods slowly, and he says, "Well done, new acolytes." And he will go ahead and use both of your components to cast Pass Without Trace, without using a focus like a staff or a wand or anything, as he is spending those components. And the casting appears to be successful, and he is pleased. So he will pull out from... He has a few pouches along his belt there, and he will pull out from one of those pouches a couple pins to place upon your breasts, and then he will... Varmod is a busy man, so once he might shake your hand or just give you a nod of respect once he gives you your pins, and then he will continue working. And actually,
good enough for me.
Yeah, you two go ahead and roll perception for me. So Kildrak, once Varmod turns away, Kildrak becomes quite disinterested, and before consulting with Current about where to go next, sees what Henrietta is doing as she is working on some short little pine saplings. Current, kind of interested in what the cloistered acolytes were talking about there. You overhear them say, We mustn't make any mistakes. He is displeased that he could not get as much essence of annihilation as he would have liked. And one of the acolytes says, "It's okay. He has more than enough, and we will continue doing our work here and support the Fountain of Progress and the Arcanite Reactor, and continue supplying our components from our ends." And the acolytes nod. Yes, it will be okay, and the ritual will certainly go as planned as they continue their work. And Varmod kind of turns back to the acolytes as you finish hearing that, and you probably feel like you don't want to try to overhear or pry too much longer without risking suspicion there. So, Current and Kildrak finish their trial. Our last one here is Scaldrus. So, Scaldrus met with Harold, the orc alchemist, who is quite excited about making acidic potions that deal damage, and Scaldrus specifically wanted to work on a splash potion. So Scaldrus, Harold has brought you over a recipe that is attributed to the Grand Alchemist himself for a splash potion of dealing acidic damage to your foes. This will also be a short skills challenge where you must accrue 2 successes before 2 failures, and the DC to follow the Grand Alchemist's recipe correctly enough to pass is a DC 20 for these checks.
Fun.
Harold will show you how to use a burner at the table and instruct you on the names of some of the glass bottles, flasks, etc. around there and what they're generally used for before he steps away to continue doing something else and observe some other acolytes. And he leaves Scaldrus to his own devices to follow that recipe to a T. So, do you have any skills off the top of your head that you would think of? I think medicine could definitely be applicable.
Could investigation work on understanding the details of the recipe and following it to the T?
Yes, yeah, and I definitely think that, especially as your first skill check there, that makes a lot of sense. And you have to gather some ingredients, so you will read the recipe very carefully, and go collect the appropriate amount of ingredients. As you're not quite sure exactly how to direct the roaming constructs to get the things you want, but you can take your time perusing the shelves and finding those things yourself. And Scaldrus successfully collects all of the ingredients he wants in at least the amounts required by the recipe, perhaps with a little extra room for error in case he messes something up. But yeah, you feel quite confident in the recipes, the ingredients that you have gathered. You've gotten some of the sacred substance as well as poison from this like large lizard, sort of Gila monster type creature, you can assume, that is kept in the component farm. And Scaldrus now begins the process of actually crafting the acid. Do you have any skills that come to the top of your mind for crafting the acid?
Either perception or nature.
Perception or I think nature especially makes a lot of sense, and the acid has some natural components to it. So yeah, if you would want to do nature for your second check. Would you want to add a hero die or anything to that, or
It needs
take
to be
a
a
19?
20.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'll do a hero die.
Okay. Yep. So Scaldrus picks up the recipe very well, and it takes you quite some time, as you must boil certain ingredients, wait for things to cool, mix things for a certain amount of time, let them sit for 15 minutes, and after all is said and done, you have created a fairly potent splash potion of acid.
Nice.
Go ahead and roll a d6 for me. A d6 and a d4. Your acid counts as an acid vial from typical adventuring gear. So I'll just type this out in the Foundry chat. Acid vial, but instead of 2d6 acid damage, it does 4d6 acid damage. and you have 3 doses of it, basically. And
Jeez.
that is yours to keep. And when you present the result of your work to Harold, Harold will clap slowly and say, he sniffs it, and his orc nose curls. It recoils as he gets a whiff of it. Skuldrus. Or do you tell him your name or a different name or?
Yeah, I'll say a different name. Wild Hunt.
Wild Hunt. This first acid. I mean, of course, respect where respect is due. You were simply following the masterful recipe of the Grand Alchemist, but for your first acidic potion in this place, this seems quite potent, and you've brewed a good amount of it. You've really used all of the ingredients to the fullest. Congratulations. And he pulls out from within the depths of his robe a hexagonal pin, and that pin has like an Erlenmeyer flask illustrated on it, and he will place it on your lapel. And Harold, kind of similarly to Frederick, what he said to Sleek, Harold says, "Please, new acolyte, if you would like to stay in the castle suites there, those doors to the south are open to you, and our stewardess will bring you to an appropriate empty room for you to stay the night. Would hate for you to be exhausted going into the wondrous occasion that will be occurring tomorrow."
Sorry, can you say that again? I was making
Yeah,
a file.
Says you may. Oh man, my camera's whack. I'm just gonna turn that off for now. He says you may stay in the castle suites. A stewardess will lead you to an empty room prepared for you, and I would like you to be well rested as we are going into a very big day tomorrow.
As I am new here, may I have an understanding of why it will be a big day?
Oh, of course. You see, the Grand Alchemist has been preparing for quite some time, and collecting the components necessary to conduct a ritual of ascension, a ritual that he will begin tomorrow, so later in the day, I believe. It is a very exciting occasion, and it is excellent that we have great new young recruits like you here to witness it. And actually, I have taken some particular interest in it myself. I have been handling this essence of annihilation which he was collecting for the ritual. This pure, powerful, and undiluted substance. And I am most excited to witness the Grand Alchemist as he absorbs that essence into himself as a part of his ascension.
That sounds absolutely wonderful for him. May I... sorry, I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from somewhere that is far, far from here, and I struggle to understand the concept of ascending. Yes, I understand the basics of getting things like potions right, but from where I come, they don't, what you say, ascend? Could you explain to me what that means?
Go ahead and roll persuasion.
Oh. I'm gonna use inspiration.
Okay.
There we go.
Nice. Very solid roll. These are understandable questions, Acolyte. You see, many eons ago, the Grand Alchemist was but a lowly clone of the original alchemist, Theophrastus. And our Grand Alchemist set about a fantastic scheme to transform his body into that of a penumbral fiend, one bolstered and attached to the energy of shadows, which is very great here in Gehenna. I can leave you with a couple tidbits to get you excited for what is happening tomorrow. Firstly, our castle is to arrive at its destination, a very potent brine pool underneath the surface of Gehenna, where the castle is to sit down into, and for one, the cool presence of the brine will cool the Arcanite reactors inside the castle as the ritual is performed. And the brine is also said to have other properties which aid in what is occurring. Additionally, so this essence of annihilation, which I have been handling not handling myself, but working on storage and transport. To be honest, the Grand Alchemist wanted more than 3 tanks of the substance. He had been working for many years to acquire the amount that he has. This essence of annihilation, they say it is the blood of a powerful demon. And unfortunately, what I have heard, this demon recently perished, and his great power of annihilation was enough that in his death, that great demon annihilated himself from existence. But it is the pure, undiluted blood of the demon known as Obox Ob that is one of the key components of this ritual of ascension, as the Grand Alchemist ascended to the form of penumbral fiend eons ago. Now, he sets his sights on a higher goal: divinity. And that's what Harold tells you. And then he'll actually, Harold enjoys your company, and he will assist you in putting back ingredient containers that you used, which may be refilled, and cleaning out some of the glasses and flasks that you used, and putting everything away. and he will kind of share the story with you as you guys work.
If you're curious on why I rolled that 1d100, Isaac. If I got a 90, I was gonna say, oh yeah, we killed him.
Oh, nice.
84.
So, that is, we have finished. Everyone has finished with their trials here, and I know Salik and Simileek were seeking out party members. Reditu and Mebly had a bit of time because their trial was much shorter than everyone else's. But we will come back. I think this is a good time to take a short break and resume around 8:20. Reditu was kneeling at the Fountain of Progress for a lot of time there. And Mebly was wandering around. Mebly doing anything in particular? You had like a couple hours to peruse the heart of the castle, you'd visit the cafeteria, see what your friends are doing.
I'd love to catch up with my friends at the cafeteria.
Might I request that the rogue spend some time observing Paracelsian and his surroundings for an opening to strike? Which is what we're planning to do, hopefully. Like the 3 pins are cool, and all, but we might resort to murderous intentions sooner than later.
Okay. I didn't realize he was in the near vicinity of the area, but yeah.
Paracelsian, for the whole time that you guys are doing your first trials, he is working on projects on his grand pedestal in the center of this open floor plan laboratory. And Mebly spending some time observing discreetly Paracelsian and his actions and whatnot. Would you like to roll insight, perception, or investigation?
Mebly would like to roll perception.
Okay. And anyone who is, before we do Mebly's perception check, anyone who is in this room when Paracelsian killed the heretic acolyte may roll Arcana if you wish to perhaps glean anything from him murdering that acolyte.
Was that when me and Mebly were in the portal?
Yes, that was.
I think I'm getting everything from the last time.
Yeah, Skuldrus, every time you look at Paracelsian, you just remember his signature at the bottom of that recipe, and you furiously want to make sure that you're not forgetting anything or leaving anything out, and you are just milling over the process of making your acid potion in your head, and then only like dozens of minutes later you're like, oh shoot, I was trying to like observe Paracelsian, but and let me go ahead and roll this. Okay. And I will say, around the end of Salik and Kildrak and Current's trial, so actually no, I'll say this happens like very soon after you guys finish your trial. Did anyone want to roll Arcana? Salik or Current or Kildrak? Okay.
Garrett got. My mic is far. Garrett got
Yeah.
called on a work thing, so
Oh, dang. Okay.
he's not
I would be
here right now, but he's
doing
listening.
Arcana.
Okay.
Someone's got to roll for me, plus 11.
+0, but I will roll it.
You very well may get the best roll, Josh.
I did not.
Ah, okay.
I was listening for most of that. I haven't told the party members yet, but Salik is thinking of wanting to sabotage and start a fight sooner than a day's rest, because I'll lose out on some benefits if I wait too long. So I would want to do Arcana to like assess Paracelsus in the room. And Salik didn't hear about the core, but like if the core needs to be cooled, that means it can be overheated. So just kind of scanning the room to see any weak points to exploit would be of interest.
Might I remind Salik that we are sharing the same general space as that reactor?
I mean, there are a number of ways that we can do it. Delayed fire magic, sacrificing a flesh golem, sacrificing another golem, sacrificing an undead, sacrificing a different undead, sacrificing my simulacrum. I have a bunch of ways I can blow the thing up.
Yeah, there is Kildrak's point of concern, and then there's also the fact that you all are currently inside. You occupy the same room as Paracelsian, who seems very perceptive of communication in the lab. So it might actually be
I wasn't
hard
going
for
to speak anything yet.
like Scaldrus to even convey the information about the reactor to you guys without arousing suspicion. Maybe
Okay.
we'll have to figure that out. But Mebly rolled perception, and with a 14, Mebly, you, with your roguish instincts, you are not at all a fan of this room. The workbenches and workstands in the workshop and the work alchemy area do not offer great cover. Neither do the tiered gardens or the component farm, which is a lot of like barred cages. There are beings everywhere. You scanning the room for quite some time, you just cannot find a great place for Mebly to do his thing if a fight were to break out with Paracelsian in the near future. Every corner you see lines of sight to constructs and acolytes and even the leaders of each area, which seem much more powerful than your run-of-the-mill acolyte. And in the time, as you and Redditu had quite a lot of time there. Actually, let's do Redditu. Redditu, go ahead and roll religion again for me, if you would. Nice, an unnatural 20 on religion. So you envision yourself becoming one with the sacred substance, correct? As it would
Yes.
kind of like augment your body, your abilities.
That was the general thought process.
Okay, so you are respectfully reverent for quite some time before the Fountain of Progress, and Redditu feels in his mind a vision take shape as you feel below this fountain and below the Arcanite reactor in this room. You feel a great wellspring of the sacred substance, and as from an acolyte's perspective, you feel what would be a calming like understanding that you are a part of something much greater, and that Paracelsian inside this grand castle Blackfume. Paracelsian is holding you in his grasp firmly, and I'm not sure how Redditu would feel about that, but to an acolyte that might be comforting, exciting. And you feel that there is a purpose of ascension connected to this substance and the reactor, but you know that in your eyes or in your mind's eye, as you ponder before the fountain, that this is just the tip of the iceberg, and that Arcanite reactor before you is almost like an offshoot of something greater that must dwell below this room, where all of the substance of the Fountain of Progress comes from.
Well, it is certainly good to know. And now I would like to, eventually investigate that section.
Okay, yeah, so I'll say you and Mebly may each make one more check if Redditu wishes to roll investigation about the reactor, the fountain, or something else. If Mebly would like to switch up from perception and roll maybe insight or investigation or something else.
Me insights.
Oh, geez, a nat 20.
Okay. And it what exactly is Redditu investigating? Like the reactor, the fountain, or Paracelsian?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna be investigating the realization I came to earlier. So trying to look for some kind of like a sign or something that would lead to the wellspring beneath, or like what. Yeah, learning about that.
Awesome. Okay.
Wow, really good roll.
So we'll go ahead and this time we'll start with Redditu. Redditu was higher in the initiative from the last session. You are you have like 45 minutes or an hour. How does Redditu investigate? Do you continue to prostrate yourself before the fountain and like glance around, or do you walk around, observe things? Do you ask questions?
I think I should be done asking questions now because I was probing things earlier and it's probably
Okay.
doing a little too much, so don't want to raise anything suspicion-wise.
Yeah.
But I'll probably like maybe do like do like a little walk around thing as I like walk around the grand pedestal, but like always facing the Fountain of Progress to try to make it look like it's like a constant prayer walk type of thing.
Cool. Yeah. So with your 22 in investigation, you spend your time examining the fountain and looking up and down that Arcanite reactor. You are sure that whatever is happening inside this large steel-clad thing with very thick glass sides to it and tons of the glowing green substance within, this is almost more of a storage tank or like a sub-unit of what must be the true reactor. As you have seen, this sacred substance, as they call it, flowing throughout the castle and from the legs and exhaust spouts on the sides of the castle outside of it. That is, it's like a chimney or a sub-unit. And you walk around the grand pedestal. You notice many arcane runes etched all around the grand pedestal, and you could imagine that the whole thing could function as a teleportation circle at the least. You, yeah, let me actually look at some other specific things. You rolled very high in your investigation. I want to give you relevant information here. Okay. You notice high in the ceiling. So actually, yeah. First, you notice around the outside of the room there are illuminated signs in red above certain doors, going to the cafeteria, to the central acolyte path there, and to the castle suites, as well as above the flickering portal. There is a this glowing red sign that must be disconnected from its power source, so it's not actually glowing. But these signs that say fire, and you could you just imagine that those must be places where you can escape in case something crazy happens inside of this room. And sort of alongside that, there are spouts, emergency spouts. You have seen something similar in very advanced buildings you have been in before. These are around the outside walls and also run across the ceiling throughout the place. These sort of emergency spouts that, when called upon, might douse the area to prevent fires. But there are 2 different types of pipes that feed these spouts, and you can only imagine that some of them must shower the place in water, and some of them might drop the sacred substance upon this area, which, I mean, it seems like something you don't want to touch, so that might not be great.
Like an odd thing to have built in.
And with your another thing you notice as you walk around in your reverent act, examining things as a new acolyte, you watch as Paracelsian is working frantically, not without care, but quickly. And one of the tables where his 7-axis arm has moved around on the track, leaving a table where he had an ongoing experiment, and it started bubbling and hissing, and there was a black cube underneath this flask that seems to be in a dangerous state, like it's almost hissing like a teapot. And with a flick of his wrist, Paracelsian, you don't see anything, but all of that boiling and perturbation just stops, and the cube immediately changes color from like a charcoal gray to more of a steel gray. And you can only imagine that he just like shut off all the magic on that table, basically with a flick of his wrist.
Just
Finally,
a flick of the wrist.
you examine the place, and you are not sure exactly how to get to the lower areas, but you're pretty sure the quickest path would probably be through the castle suites to the lower area there.
Castle suites.
Yeah, which I don't think any of you guys can read that description anymore. I might just honestly.
Oh.
Yeah, because there's walls blocking it. But if I'll just get rid of that, because yeah, the castle suites are down there. And Mebley rolled a natural 20 on his insight. Mebley, Tom, I will just tell you sort of the characters and the things that are going on inside of this lab, and you tell me what catches your interest and what do you want to know more about. So obviously there is the Grand Alchemist, this huge 4-armed figure, 2 braziers, balanced over his shoulders, held aloft by his upper arms. He is there in the middle of the room. You could definitely get insights about him, but before we go further with that, I'll just also tell you that he has these 7-axis, these more powerful, more nimble arms on moving tracks around his grand pedestal. In addition, of course, there are the more typical 6-axis arms that you had encountered before, scattered throughout the facility, mostly in the arcane workshop. And then there are many acolytes strewn throughout the place, dozens of acolytes milling about, going in and out of the cafeteria, the castle suites. Every once in a while, a couple acolytes will go into a door that leads to one of the paths, but not often. And you have the 5 sort of like head figures of the respective areas: Gerald at the component farm, Harold at the alchemist workbenches, Frederick at the arcane workshop, Varmod at the wondrous gardens, and Carlisle watching over the fountain of progress. So yeah, you rolled a natural 20 on your insight, Tom. What would you like to gain some insights about first?
I want to gain on Paracelsian himself to see what kind of want a more detailed look on his features and another 7 arms around.
Yep, and the 7-axis, these larger, more nimble arms around his area.
Now I'm thinking about it, I kind of want to explore that a little bit more.
Okay, so we'll start off. I'll tell you, I will give you 4 insightful revelations. So let's start off with a revelation, an insight on the Grand Alchemist himself. Some of his most obvious features are the protruding horn that comes out of his nostrils, the braziers of green flame hoisted above his shoulders, and his shoulders have these like shoulder pads, you might consider them, that are like these canine skulls. But looking at him, like really looking into him for a little bit, Mebly is interested in the glowing ring of like energy emanating from the center of his chest. You had heard out over at the Fountain of Progress, like Carlisle said, the Grand Alchemist is capable of ingesting the sacred substance while no one else is. And you think that this powerful, whatever, like golden blood, perhaps, it's like glowing gold from the middle of his gray chest there. Whatever's pumping through his magical heart must give him great fortitude. And so, yeah, you could imagine he could just like drown himself in that, like do a keg stand of the sacred substance and be totally fine, whereas that would kill most normal creatures. And I will say you are quite positive that with that glowing energy inside of his chest, you feel like this huge, exceptionally vital, immortal creature would never die. You feel like to kill the Grand Alchemist, you must remove that magical heart from him.
So basically kill Jarvis.
So yeah, would you like another insight about Paracelsian, or something around him, someone else?
I'd love to get insight on the other alchemists or whatever they're called. They're-
the leaders of the
Uh,
different areas?
Yeah, going in and out of his lair.
Oh, okay.
seeing
The
my
acolytes
kid.
in general.
Yeah.
Okay. With your, like, you know that you guys are here on a mission to kill the Grand Alchemist, basically. Potentially, combat could ensue at any moment. The acolytes, the multiple dozens of acolytes that fill this chamber, you feel like they would pose you a decent threat themselves. For Mebly himself, it would be basically impossible to hide in this place. And like for example, your party throws around a lot of fireballs. You think that these guys could survive a fireball at least. Like, you would have to spend a decent amount of resources just to kill a group of the acolytes themselves. And then you have, of course, Paracelsian, the leaders, the robots, to also deal with. What else is Mebly interested about? There's still, you could learn more insights about Paracelsian or something else that piques your interest.
Yeah, more facts about Paracelsian.
All right.
Want to know him to the bone.
Okay. I think this is a good time for him to do his next kind of visible act, as he, towards the end of everyone's trials, Paracelsian, for those who are paying close attention, Paracelsian might be getting a little frustrated with the Arcanite reactor. Things are not going his way. He doesn't like punch anything or shove his fist onto anything, but he presses a hand up against the Arcanite reactor quite firmly. His mouth is set. He shows a little frustration, and opening a hatch where some of this sacred substance is exposed, he begins to energize it, perhaps, as he unleashes a continuous arc of lightning into the reactor, and he maintains this lightning for a full minute as it blasts from one of his hands before it subsides. And Mebly, with your insanely high insight, you feel like a very well-trained caster who cast the lightning bolt spell 10 times in a row could achieve that effect. And for him to hold such a sustained magic, his magical reserves must be very, very deep and vast. And you're quite positive Paracelsian is beyond most things you have encountered before. When you encountered another humanoid, very powerful creature, the Pale Huntress, she had on herself a spell you guys had never encountered before, and that spell brought her back to full health immediately after you killed her the first time. You're not even sure this guy obeys the laws of the natural universe. You have heard that ages ago, wizards used to be able to harness magic in what were considered 10th level spells. And Mebly would not be surprised if the Grand Alchemist cast a 10th level spell.
Gosh.
Shit.
What other one more thing, what is Mebly interested in here?
Does Mebly know by chance what spells he can cast, or what exactly is his expertise in spells? Yeah, what exactly?
You.
What kind of spellcaster is he again?
Sure, yeah. He is when comparing him to your run-of-the-mill, your categories of sorcerer of magic users, he might classify as a sorcerer those that produce their magic from an innate wellspring of magic. You have seen him. You know that he can cast basically in the same action an Eldritch Blast and Lightning Bolt at once.
What?
You are sure
What?
he has some sort of readily available dispel magic capabilities, like Redditu had noticed. And Paracelsion's specialty, as you see him work around his various workbenches there, he touches huge contraptions that are distilling different materials, and as he touches them, they transform. A swirling gray liquid that has electrical energy in it. When Paracelsion wishes, he touches the flask, and all of a sudden it turns into a muddy goop. And he does similar things constantly, and you are sure, you are quite positive that this guy is definitely like the greatest alchemist in the multiverse, as far as Mebly could possibly imagine. And just with a touch, like, you are seeing him transmute things. He, like, at one point, a roaming construct brings over a cage of bats, and Paracelsion waves his hand over the cage, and the bats all fall down as a pool of black slime. And he then picks up, like, magically, like, levitates this cage that the bats were in and shapes it into a sort of like spout, and pours out this black slime into one of the concoctions he is making. It's pretty mind-blowing watching him work. And finally, I will say that you notice a lot of the things that he is working on and producing end up getting shuttled away on roaming constructs or carried by hurriedly moving acolytes, mostly away towards the cafeteria or sometimes toward the castle suites. And with that, everyone has finished their trials, so like, I know Salik was very overt at the end of his trials and wanting to meet up with especially like Redditu and Kildrak, so let's start there. How does Salik seek out the crew and group up with people here?
I think just walking over, kind of proudly displaying the pins for succeeding in the trial and having the large monstrosity follow and go, well, as you can see, I was able to succeed in a trial, but I don't wish to break the concentration of those in the room. Why don't you come with me to the room I've been designated to retire in for exchanging stories on how our trials went?
Do you say that to like maybe Redditu and Mebly, that as you meet them, and then it just kind of group up with the party members? Yeah, it is. How does everyone feel about meeting up and following Salik to private quarters?
Works for me.
Yep.
Okay. So you round up the gang and everyone heads to the castle suites. So I'll just go ahead and we'll go to this page because it's cool art. That is not I mean, it looks very different from my personal vision of the castle, but it is very cool nonetheless. And you guys step through a double door that is used very often towards the castle suites where many acolytes go to retire. There are two. So this is another hemisphere room where there is a desk with kind of like a receptionist and a steward and a stewardess waiting at the ready. And at the back, the flat end of the room, there are two staircases leading upward and beyond, and then one central staircase leading downward. And the receptionist, a middle-aged tiefling with short horns and blue skin, he says, he looks at your robes and says, "New acolytes, come on over here. Hello, my name is Talor. Would you all like to be situated?"
I will look over at the other members of the party.
You're not going to make a charisma check for your room, Salik.
Kildrak said, "Please." So yeah, I'm assuming you guys all kind of step toward the desk a little bit there, and he says,
Yep.
Okay, there's 6 of you. You two are Kokras. Are you fine bunking together?" And you see he is noticing like you led in. I'm assuming you're just having the your new animated creation and the spider follow you guys around.
Oh, very obviously, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he definitely notices those, and so he asks you if you guys are bunking together.
That would be fine.
Excellent. And your companions there will be going with you?
I'm never far from my artwork.
No, that is great, and those things look most impressive. And one of the stewards kind of has wide eyes as he examines the headless spider that you got and the minotaur creation that you made. The other one looks a little bit frightened of them. He says, "You two will be set up in a corner room with some extra space, all right? And let's see availability for the other. There's 5 of you. Okay. So 2 of you can follow our male stewardess here. Male stewardess. Wow. Our male steward. Gary will lead our Kokras and 2 others up the left staircase toward your quarters. The other 3 of you, please follow Raisha, as she will lead you up the right staircase toward your quarters.
Follow.
I mean, pick a side, any side, folks.
Yeah, there's 2 going to the same general area as the Saliks. Who goes that way?
I will follow the Saliks.
I guess I'll go with the birds of a feather stick together.
All right.
Wow.
So yeah, Kildrak and Redatu will be set up in another like 2-person sort of dormitory room nearby the Saliks corner room that they get. And then the other 3 of you, Mebly, Current, and Scaldrus, 2 of you will share a dormitory type room, and the other one will get a smaller single room to yourself, fairly close to each other. And you guys are led to your respective areas. The tiefling will, as you guys are kind of sorting yourselves into lines, You seem to be in great control of your companions there. He says to the Sleeks. But look, you guys got your first pins. Any unstable concoctions or chaotic contraptions that you guys should declare before turning in? We'd hate to find one of you sawed up by a little trinket that you created last night when you awaken.
You've had
Nothing for
previous
me.
experience of somebody?
If it wasn't a possibility, I wouldn't be asking. But yes, please go on your way. And so the Sleeks are led to a fairly large room where there's two bunk beds and ample space for your creations to be in there. Kildrak and Redditu are led to a small room with two sort of like twin beds. And typically there's like a foot locker for each bed in a room and a little closet. And who in the other group would Mebley and Scaldrus go in a room together and Current in a separate room, or?
That sounds good to me.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, you guys all also have a twin bed for yourself. Mebley and Scaldrus in a double room, and Current has a room to herself with her own closet and all that. And once you are shown your rooms, the stewards will ask if you have any questions or needs before leaving you be and heading back to that welcoming area.
I'm going to deadpan look this man in the face and go, I have strange tastes. I made a copy of myself. Are we going to have the soundproof in this room to fully unwind from a stressful day of art?
Yes, the walls inside the castle are very, very strong and sound. Nothing like the monastery where I grew up and was trained. The walls were paper thin there.
If the walls are actually soundproof.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, from what you can tell that checks out looking at the walls there. And yeah. So then he'll leave you. And you guys have your rooms. What would you all like to do? Do you want to wind down and try to rest, or meet up?
We could all meet up in my ring and communicate that way.
I like that.
It's probably safe.
Let's do that.
So these stairs lead up to multi-leveled dormitories, the straight halls, 3 levels, and at either end there is the front stairs that leads back toward that kind of the castle suites reception area, and back stairs that if anyone is curious, the back stairs actually lead out to sort of a balcony. And your 2 separate sides do not connect. So I guess whose room are you all meeting up in?
If Scaldrus has the ring, why not meet in Scaldrus's room?
Cool.
Makes sense. So as the Sleeks and Kildrak and Redditu head back towards the castle suites reception area. Do you all travel as a pack of 4 or separately, or?
I think it's fine to travel as a pack.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, as you pass through that reception area, the tiefling will just ask, are you in need of anything?
Not that I've
Somewhere
found so
party.
far.
Don't mind us.
Don't be suspicious. Don't
He-
be suspicious.
Just nods, and he continues reading some, either a book or like a reddish. It could be a list of people in the dorms, or it could be an actual book. You're not sure. But he
Is it
continues
Puzzle
reading that
Club?
thing. And you guys all meet up in Scaldrus's room. So then you pop into Scaldrus's ring.
Yes.
We don't say anything.
I will
We
leave.
just all look at the ring and then.
I will leave the spider and the minotaur outside.
Sure.
Oh yeah, this map. I forgot about this map.
So pretty.
So yeah, you guys are all in there. There is Sleek and Simuleek. And what do you all discuss and whatnot?
Before we begin, see, I want to be careful of what, just to verify because he's so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do, what is that on? Detect magic. I'm trying to remember what it is on.
Oh, yeah. Is it like a scrying orb
It's on a
or
wand.
something? Okay, yeah. Yeah, you cast detect magic and kind of just walk around your mansion to be sure, and you do not detect any traces of magic that is not yours. And I mean, that makes sense. You are inside an extra dimensional space that is technically your patrons, and you feel pretty confident that there's no scrying devices or similar things affecting you here.
Cool. I think we are secure and ready to share the wonderful horrors that we have learned.
That's one way to put it.
Who wants to
I
go
learned that
first?
Kurt can put a tree through the roof, and that's about all the useful information I have.
No. You gotta branch out. I like the silence from Josh.
Sorry, me and
I did not
Simuleek,
deign to respond to that one.
we're sitting cross-legged and writing our own thoughts and note-taking everything that's being said, as I am also writing notes.
Cool.
I'm assuming, just to take a shortcut for all of us, that all of the information that the DM has relayed is going to be shared.
Yes.
Yeah, but like, give me the bullet points of the useful information, because a lot of things have been said tonight.
He's trying to ascend. He's stupidly powerful, like level 10 magic, double casting.
Double casting is base sorcerer.
What? I don't have double
It's not
casting.
unusual.
Okay.
Twin spells,
Well,
not
I
different
mean,
spells.
like in the same he can cast 2 spells per turn.
Yes.
Yeah, you
that's
could-
metamagic. That's metamagic level 3.
Oh,
Quicken spell, Eldritch Blast, yeah, and Eldritch Blast and Lightning Bolt on the same turn is a level 5 sorcerer.
oh.
So, yeah.
I thought we were told that we couldn't do that, but okay.
With a cantrip. That's right.
It's a cantrip and
Eldritch
a leveled spell specifically.
Oh, okay. I thought you were meaning like both 2 level spells at the same time. I was like, what?
Well, I wouldn't put it past him, but we have not seen evidence of it yet.
True.
Now, granted, whatever the heck level he is, his cantrips are shockingly good, I'm sure.
Yeah. Was it? So he wants to ascend. Oh, yes. He got, so Obaxop, who we killed, he has the blood of him, and he's gonna use that blood to ascend. And I take that's not good when he is a creation of his own self over and over. So I don't know if
Question.
ascending means that he's gonna just make himself again.
He's going to make himself a god, would be my interpretation.
Well, one, I'm assuming you relate that he's a clone too, right? This Paracelsian is technically a clone.
Yeah.
Would I have any insight into any weaknesses that come with that, since I have a clone prepared?
That would probably be an Arcana roll
I'm so glad you said that.
or history, but yeah.
Nah.
Ooh.
28.
With a 28, you, and actually, yeah, Salik. Was Salik present for the research about Paracelsian? Not much really, right?
Not a whole lot, no.
So you are quite positive that Paracelsian is sort of like what academic books you think he would be like a true clone of this Theophrastus, and that this Theophrastus has other different Theophrastus like aspects out there, on sort of like you don't think he's anywhere close to a simulacrum or even like a normal clone, but probably closer to like an aspect of a god or an aspect of a demon lord, or like how you have heard the demon queen Igwilf is also called Natasha by like Mordenkainen, is that sort of different thing.
Ridiculous.
Second question. The Fountain of Progress that makes the special goo only he can touch. Is that what's going to be mixed with the Obaxab blood? And if so, could we fuck up the ritual by putting angelic blood in there?
Most likely, yeah. I mean, he wasn't clear of what it was gonna be because he hadn't even created it, so...
Well,
Yeah, so
sure,
a couple
but
details
he is
Skull
a
just
chemist.
Yeah, a couple details Skull just heard, just to reiterate, was the blood of Obax-Ab was called the Essence of Annihilation, which was something Current also heard mutterings about, and it is Skuldress's understanding that it is one of a few key ingredients to this ritual process.
So, in order to prevent his ascension, we have to either mess with or steal the blood and ruin his alchemical formula, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I also noticed he likes to fiddle with the knobs of the reactor. We could maybe use that as an angle.
Fiddle with the fiddle.
I'm not sure if any of us have the expertise to ruin a reactor without just destroying it.
True. And he would probably see the magic we're doing. Or... Well, what? Oh, yeah. His weaknesses are probably not magic. So anything physical is his weakness. So, stealth, he would probably struggle to see. So that's usually what the opposite is. So we need to think about ways to stop him in a physical standpoint, and less in a magical standpoint.
I do have 2 rather meaty assets to throw at that particular problem.
True. The acid we have. That could affect things. Like, not in a major enough way, but could slow, or like, affect things. That don't cause a reactor to just explode.
What is our end goal here? An assassination? A stopping of a ritual? Pandemonium?
Incapacitation, and then get a lucky roll on the Iron Flask. Actually, that's a good question to ask now. What is the upgraded Iron Flask achievement? Also, this is really annoying. I can hear the belts in someone's car from my apartment. That is not good.
The description of the upgraded Iron Flask is in your guys' session 131 notes.
Also, Salik has an Iron Flask. Is that a normal one, or does he have the upgraded one?
That's probably the upgraded one you guys got. I don't think
It is the upgraded one that I gave to Sleep because I picked it up.
Okay, just making sure. We confirmed it's empty, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys knew that Bone Jangles had created it, and it wasn't to his satisfaction, or he abandoned it and left it in his workshop there. So it doesn't seem like it was ever used.
I feel of all of us, who has the best chance of surviving massive amounts of damage and getting close current might be you.
You think current, or even Mebly? Or do you think Mebly is too squishy?
Are you saying to use the Iron Flask?
Squishy?
Yeah, I don't believe I'm going to get close enough to him.
You have to reduce him. You have to kill him first, or not kill him, but reduce him to 0. It's not just a straight up save.
Okay.
No chance he fails a polymorph save to turn into a toad when it gets added to the litter of corpses in my bag of holding.
Go ahead and roll Arcana, Nina.
I already know the answer. Oh.
I'm going to guess that he does not need to breathe, but... Or would be totally fine just ripping the bag open and exiting into the astral sea.
Yeah, you're not entirely sure, current, but I mean, just you saw his control over matter that was around him, including turning living creatures like bats into slime with the wave of his hand, so you think he might have a pretty good grasp of his own composition as well. Were there any other things like Mebly and Redatu also noticed quite a few things? Anything that you guys want to bring up in particular?
I mean, it was pretty much discussed that whatever the hell was emanating off his chest is no bueno. And
well, yeah, and not only that, you're quite sure that his heart flows with something very powerful and healing or gives him fortitude otherwise, and you don't think that he could die as long as his heart is inside of his chest.
Do I think that Dispel Magic at 9th level would disrupt that magic?
He would probably counterspell with a 9th level.
It doesn't
And-
matter if you counter spells. We just need it to hit.
You could roll a another Arcana, Nina.
I would be curious to know that as well.
Okay. Yeah, you guys can both roll Arcana about casting Dispel Magic on him, basically.
$22.
You in all of the things that Paracelsian was doing, you didn't see him like use enchantment a lot or enchant himself or create many like lingering effects. And you're Salik with a roll of 22. I mean, you're not confident that even a 9th level Dispel Magic would like I'm not sure what exactly you would want it to do, if you want to like stop his heart or like quell the magical or whatever otherwise powerful energy flowing through him. You're not sure a 9th level Dispel Magic would like stop the glowing power within his chest.
Was that like his heart was tethered to some external artifact? Is that something that we know?
Did we ever see him leave that pedestal area? I know how that has a ton of runes on it.
He yeah, I would say he never even really came within the outer rim, like the outer 5 feet of that pedestal. He was engrossed and absorbed in his work, and acolytes and constructs came up onto the pedestal every once in a while, but he stayed within it the whole time.
Isaac, I'm messaging you on Discord.
Maybe
And
a factor is the pedestal itself, or at least the runes on it. Maybe that stuff is like acting upon his heart.
additionally, Redatu also had kind of an insight that there's more perhaps below the pedestal. I don't know if that would give you any suggestions, or if you want to share any thoughts with the party about that.
Investigate that.
Totally.
Because if it's something that we can like
manipulate, or destroy,
yeah,
or earthquake,
or poison it or something, if it's something that like feeds directly to him, which I don't think he does, but different ways to toy with it. More information would always be helpful.
I messaged you on Discord, Isaac.
Yeah. Would you want to? I know you have divination, Tom. Would you want to cast divination, or at least offer it up to the party? You could ask some. What is it? A god, yeah, or the servant of a god. You could ask a question. Using Mebly's divination, and that one's not like a yes or no. That one is a short phrase or a cryptic rhyme or an omen.
If this would lead us to any insight on a way to counter Paracelsian. What does the rest of the party think?
I think you just reminded me, not only can we do that, you can also do the communes to ask questions about the pedestals. I think that's a fantastic line of questioning to follow.
Do you want to do a divination first, maybe?
Sure.
So if Mebley casts divination, what sort of question would he ask, and what god would Mebley reach out to in this?
Has there by chance been any recent god that or any recent deity that we've encountered somewhat recently in the past? Or I'm just some deity from a higher realm with knowledge would be ideal.
What? What was that deity? Or was he a god? The one that I contacted.
When?
Couple of sessions ago. It was in the rooms that we had, like 3 doors. And I use contact planes.
Oh, you were talking to Mordenkainen. Yeah, I don't think Mordenkainen would be a viable target for a divination spell.
Cool.
But yeah, more of a deity like any of the party's patron deities. You ran into a few deities in the upper planes, perhaps most recently Bahamut, the god of dragons.
I'm looking at the deity page right now.
And I mean, from your roguish activities, I'm sure Mebley would be familiar with like the god of tricksters and similar domains like that. So yeah, would anyone want to like do a commune that they have while Mebley is figuring out that divination, or come up with the workings of a plan, or figure out what information you still want to get?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. So the commune is yes/no questions, right?
Yep.
I'm trying to think of what questions those would be.
What questions would
If
those
a
be?
creature has a magical heart sustaining them past death to near invulnerability, what is the most surefire way to neutralize and locate the source of that unkillability?
I don't think that's yes or no.
Something like that.
Is it phrases or is it just yes or no? Yeah, it's short phrases.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. Might reply in a short phrase, a cryptic rhyme, or an omen.
An omen. Yep.
That's the angle I would push for.
Yeah.
For divination at least. But yeah, then commune is the yes or no typically.
So then the question is who? Anybody in...
For matters of... actually, are there any gods that are particularly interested in keeping the divine and mortal realms separate and would have a vested interest in ensuring that just balance remains untipped?
That's a good call.
Would that be like, I don't know if Kelemvor is the right deity circle.
Isaac,
What?
the platinum dragon?
Yeah, there was the dragon you had. That was from Bahamut, which was the dragon god I was talking about earlier. So I think of the gods that you guys would be like knowledgeable and connected with. Either the god Tyr, who you know was instrumental in setting up some of the gates, like the separations that protected that that place at the bottom of the abyss where you guys could breach and send the seed of creation back to its like other universe. Tyr is kind of in charge of that. Or like on the balance side of things, like the patron god of a lot of bards, Agma, is a big proponent of the balance aspect of that.
Huh.
Perhaps you could beseech your patron god in asking for his insight so that we could be his instrument to play in this battle.
Nice wording.
Thank you.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna... Well, yeah, I guess I will commune with Agma, if that's the better choice for the balance of people.
Sure. Yeah, you could go for a commune with Agma, so that's 3 questions. What would be Reditu's first question?
What was the thing you said earlier, Garrett? I'm trying to remember you like had a phrasing of it.
If a creature has a magical heart preventing them from dying, how would one reach and or neutralize that heart to make them killable? It's a 2-in-1 of how do you locate what the source of power is and then how do you deal with it?
Yeah, that makes sense. I would like to say that.
How do we find Ketheric Thorm's Night Song?
Okay, so that you can ask that question. It's not much of a yes or no question, but if that's the question you want to start with, you can do that.
Okay. I think it needs to be a yes or no for the commune at least.
Yeah, I would say with a more vague question like that, I'd probably have Luke at least roll persuasion to see how decent of a response he gets.
You could split that a couple different ways. Like, does Paracelsion have an external magic heart that we can counter or eliminate? You know, something like that. Like, split it up a little bit.
Or just in general, like an external source of power.
Yeah, something like that. The core of what you want to get is there. I'm gonna let you figure out the wording from there.
Yeah. I might just say that. Like, does Paracelsian have a source of power that is like separate from himself and not on his physical body?
Like a phylactery.
The answer you received to that question is unclear.
What?
Is this part of phylactery? Oh.
So. um. Unclear. If the runes of the pedestal or the pedestal itself that Paracelsian stays on got destroyed or ruined, would that hamper his power?
Good one.
No.
Okay.
Great. Okay.
That's kind of helpful, but I guess we still need to figure out what they're doing. But now I guess... Okay. So all we know, we know Paracelsian has a magic heart, or whatever wording that would be.
Yes. Right? Yeah.
Okay.
Because what you just said to... Oh my gosh. What did you say, Isaac? Yes to...
I said unclear and then no.
Talked earlier, where did that come from?
This is annoying. I love how we're struggling with this, and we struggle with math.
Okay. Different angle of thought, just thinking out loud here. We've studied the history of how this fucker came to being. Was any of that knowledge supposed to be hidden or secret, or was it readily available? Because I know you all had to go to Mechanist to find it, but I mean, like, was it intentionally hidden and, like, attempted to be scrubbed from history?
You could have one of the party members roll history for that. I'd say someone could roll history with advantage.
Not it.
Has anyone rolled this? I have a +3, which is better than
Josh.
nothing, but...
Yeah, I'm proficient in it.
Yeah. Roll that history with advantage.
I'm trying.
Oh.
Woof.
Rolled a 9
What?
2 times in a row.
So a 15, okay.
How did
Is
we...
that was just one roll though?
That was one. Did you want me
Yeah,
to roll
go
with
go
it?
ahead and roll one more. Yep, for advantage.
Oh, it just says it for... Okay.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
a
21.
21. It you guys went to fairly, like, some might call them pure bastions of, like, history, knowledge, etc. It didn't seem like history of Paracelsian had been attempted to, like, be scrubbed from history, but it definitely seemed like the kind of knowledge where you might learn more by, like, seeking out dark whispers and the the teachings of cults, rather than historical accountings or alchemical books.
Mm.
The reason I ask is because if he had tried to hide how he was made, therein could have been a secret in his unmaking. I don't remember us finding stories about him having a special part, so that might have been something he acquired later, or in the process of him becoming Paracelsian. We know, well, you guys know that demon lords are tied to their layers, so it could be that the whole castle functions as his heart, or the reactor is his heart, or something like that.
So if we blow everything up, then he also blows up.
It's not a guarantee, though.
I'm unsurprised that is your conclusion.
So do you want to ask a yes or no leaning question about the heart, or
That's the thing. I'm not sure how to.
Ask if any part of the castle sustains him directly, or something like that. Would he suffer greatly if a part of his castle or the whole gets destroyed, or something like that?
I mean, I thought that was kind of said in the first question about asking if there was like an external source of power, like something that was, if it was lost to him, it would hamper him. I feel like that would fall under the first question. Although, I guess to be fair, the first was unclear, so maybe saying castle specifically. I don't know, though.
what question does
Paracelsian
Retu want to ask?
Sorry, what'd you say?
I was just So, what question does Retu want to ask?
Well, let's see. Does the castle play a part in Paracelsion's strength?
Okay, that's the final question Retu asks.
I suppose so.
One last whisper of the storyteller's voice reaches Retu as the commune fades. And Ogmar replies once again, no. So with that, I think that is a good spot to end tonight's session. You guys are still safely tucked away inside of Scaldrus's vessel, and over the week, you have access to a divination as well as other communes. And yeah, there's questions you have. So, over this week, we can think about some questions that you guys want answered going into the next week.
Where did the information about his heart come from? Was that an acolyte whispering that or something?
That was Mebly's insight as Mebly observed Paracelsian over an hour.
Can you explain again how that was determined?
So we'll go back to where you guys see his, in his chest, he has a glowing golden halo that emanates from the center there. And Mebly just determined that probably something with his heart is what grants him his immortality, is the reason why Carlisle said he can partake of the sacred substance and not be harmed.
So
and
we could
Mebly firmly believes that Paracelsian won't die as long as he has his chest. Like, that's how powerful his heart in his chest. That's how powerful his heart is somehow.
Oh, so
So
it's like
we
a
could-
invulnerability.
We could ask questions about if there are any other figures of import who have had a golden halo on their chest. See if there's another figure like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
And also, does him not dying mean he can never reach 0 hit points, or he won't bleed out and die? Because we just need him unconscious for 6 seconds.
True. Dimensional shackles also.
Like, I'm gonna assume the magic is powerful enough to prevent him from going unconscious, but I feel like we should confirm that 100%.
Yeah.
Because this might just be a situation where we have to just wear him down quickly, constantly. But thoughts for later, I suppose.
It's a valid point.
Okay. So yeah, there is a new Roses and Thorns channel, and I would encourage you guys just in the general text channel over the week, if you have thoughts about questions you would like to ask, you can mull those things over throughout the week, and we will get back to it the next Monday. But yeah,
Remind me
I'm going
again
to.
of the DD that we're chatting with right now.
That was Agma, the patron god of bards.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. But thank you for playing, everybody. Kind of a very different paced session, very like individual character focused stuff. So hopefully everyone enjoyed it, and I'm excited to get into more of like. I don't really want to say too much, but perhaps combat soon.
Mhm.
It's my my
Unravel.
thorn. You guys are probably not going to do the fight beyond the flickering portal, which I won't say what was beyond there just yet. It probably doesn't matter, but I mean, we'll get
Didn't
to
it
all
go
things in due
beyond
time.
the flickering portal?
Mebly
That's
and
where me and
Revitu,
Melvin went. Yeah.
yeah, they went in there after Sarazek tossed 3 dodecahedron bombs of some sort into the portal, so they didn't get to see what truly lies beyond there.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, thanks again, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Indeed. Good night.
Good night.